Okay, starting my playtest of the Wordle style category game of roles, starting from their main page of movienight.games. Looks like they want to kind of expand their collection of movie puzzle games, so Roles is the one I'll be testing, but they also have one called Thumbs, which seems to be a rapid fire guess if they gave it a thumbs up or thumb down. They have a little feedback down here. They mention what reviews and the movie database that they're sort of sourcing from. They have an ability to sign in, sign up. Let's just start with today's puzzle. So I have to guess the actor and the character that they were playing. There's a wheel to spin. Okay, I see. So roll call gives like little random effects to add some variety to the game. So there's negatives and positives. They're color coded, so it's pretty obvious quickly seeing that. We have 6 good green ones, 3 bad red ones. The goods are helping give you the letters or extra guesses or time. And the bads, you could lose a turn. Keyboard lock. I'm not 100% sure what that would be. Maybe that's just like losing some time. And half time is, I assume, just taking away half the round's time. So I will start it now. Pick 3 letters. We're in the 1980s. Actor and character. Let's start with some vowels. 3-letter names. It could be like a Dan, a Tom, Tim. So let's try those. Okay. It's looking like that will be a Tom, but I'm not confident to guess. Let's just take the T. Pretty sure it's a T. Yeah, it's a Tom. Okay. But again, not confident. I'll spin again. Guess a letter. Tom. Let's do an E. Okay, characters whose name starts M-A. Mar. Me. I don't, because often with these sort of games, I do tend to Google a little bit because my memory is not great, but I feel like I don't even have enough to reduce it down yet, so I'm just gonna go for another spin. Because there's Tom is not exactly a rare name. Let's L. Oof. Okay. Okay, I'll do one more spin, and then round 5 I'll give myself a Google. Random letter, there's no Q. Unfortunate, my free spins have chosen letters I would not have guessed. Let's try an R. That's a fairly common letter in names. Tom. I feel like something should be jumping out to me, but Tom Bridge? Mm, maybe? Is that a name? I'll try. It fits. Oh, of course. Okay, it's Tom Cruise Maverick. Yep. Cruise Maverick. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I could have tried Tom Cruise, as considering it was the 80s. He's huge as an actor, but just the character name was throwing me off because I could not. Maverick was never gonna jump to me, I think. But I mean that seemed pretty good. It seems like a pretty fair amount of rounds. Obviously, there's a element of you want to do it quickly and with few strikes, so there's multiple things to kind of score yourself on. Um, so I think I'll give it another try. Okay. Did it not just do the same one? Okay, and typing with the keyboard works. I didn't try that before, but now I did. Okay, I thought hitting play again might have given me, maybe yesterday's or access to older ones. The fact it just repeats today's seems. Maybe I was lucky. Let me just try it again to see. Okay, no. It definitely just keeps giving you today's one when you hit play again. Which is not great as user experience for me. Especially when I'm new to the Wordle game that it is, I kind of like to be able to try some older ones to see like, oh, do I like this multiple times? Because one round is hard to fully judge off in my experience. But maybe it's just because there's not enough of a backlog yet. They've not added the ability to go through historical ones. But that would definitely be something I would want to see them to add, so that rather than only being a daily thing, there's an option to at least, oh, let's play some older ones as well. Especially because with these type of games, I typically like to do them in a little session with friends. We'll go through a bunch of them, and sometimes we like to do some historical ones as well when we've missed a few weeks or whatever. So having that option would be nice to be able to make this have more playtime. Let's see, what does the share button do? Looks like it wants to link into apps. Let's just see how an email looks then. Okay, let me go to. Okay, my Outlook is updating. Okay, let's ignore that then for now. I think ideally, rather than linking into these applications, I would much prefer having some sort of thing you can copy and paste. Maybe like, oh, this is my time, can you beat me? And then a link to the website. Being forced into these suggested apps is a little inconvenient, um, especially because, well, it covers email and Discord. This doesn't cover like online forums or messages besides what I'm seeing here, because I might want to post this to a couple of people on different platforms. I'd rather not have to do this thing every time. I'd rather just have copy paste and send, send, send. Let's see, is there... I guess let's just try, let's see, numbers, nope, symbols, nope, can I, if I do 3 letters, does it instantly just take them? That's, I think it shouldn't automatically, as soon as you fill all 3 letters, just submit it, because I might want a second to, let me just restart it. Because maybe there was a timer that I missed. No, okay, there's no timer. So in this situation, I would prefer to have the option to see my letters spelled out. So maybe I'd start with Tom, because I'd be like, okay, yep, that's a 3-letter name. But then I'm like, ooh, but let me change that to like Dan. But if I overzealous type my 3rd letter, it instantly takes it. And let me just try typing it and quickly hitting backspace. Interesting. Okay. That looks like that could be a bug. So let me type Tom. Okay, so that's just a visual bug then. If I type my 3 letters and quickly press backspace, I can delete them, but it's already registered the 3 letters, and we can see that because it's correctly revealing the 3 different letters that I know are in today's answer. Which obviously is not a common occurrence, I would say. You do have to specifically type 3 letters and immediately hit backspace, but that could occur from someone thinking, oh, but I've changed my mind. I think there should at least be maybe a few seconds grace period before it accepts the answer, or just, especially at the start where there's no time limit, it should wait for you to hit like, okay, I'm happy as my starting guess. Let me see, what happens if I get the solve wrong? Bunch of random letters, press enter. It just says, all wrong. Let's guess another letter. Let's send C. Okay. What if I solve it, but only partially correct? So I guess it's Cruz, but then I'm like, oh, I don't know his character name. Is it Milk? Send that? No. Okay. So even if a solve is partially correct, it doesn't give you anything. Which I don't think there's a right or wrong way of being that, because you only have 3 attempts to solve. So maybe, so there's the option of, they could have set it up so if you get it partially correct, it gives you those letters. But okay, but obviously doing that would be like as if I just guessed a lot of letters very quickly, and then having multiple rounds would be a bit pointless, because rather than each round spinning the wheel and guessing a letter, you would always at the start just guess like a super big actor, and then let it fill out a bunch of the letters, and then maybe spend a round or two guessing letters. So I think it makes sense why they've chosen that attempted solves do not confirm if anything is correct. Um, it only gives you three attempts to guess, so it's to incentivize actually playing around with the letter spin mechanic, which in fact, let me try and see if I can get that keyboard lock. I would like to see what happens if I get that result. So let me spin. Oh, okay. So keyboard lock forces you to take a guess. Wait a second. Does it force you to just keep trying to solve? Let me try and get that again. That seemed weird. Because if you get that and you just have to spend all three of your solves, that seems a bit extreme for a random result. Because you could get that after one round and you're almost never going to solve it in that day. So let me try and get that one more time. Okay, I lost a turn. I think lose a turn is more okay as a bad result because it's quite a big loss, but you do have 8 rounds. So rather than just instantly maybe losing, you're just losing one of your 8 guesses. So let me keep doing some spins. With the spin effects, maybe there could have been another pop-up that shows the game spinning what letter it's choosing for you, but I do think that would add a lot of slowdown to it, so I think not including that might is the correct choice here. Okay, let me keep doing some spins. Let me try and get that keyboard lock again. And I don't want to do solves because I don't want to spend any, because I want to see, does it force you to use all three of them? Okay, I have to solve, so let me try ZZ. I have to solve. ZZ. I have to solve. What if I don't? Okay. So it lets you, in that round that you get keyboard lock, you can either solve with all your solves or let it time out and lose the round. I don't think that's very obvious from the name of the effect or the way it displays it. I think when you get keyboard lock, it should make it obvious that you can either spend your solves or skip the round. I think there should just be another button that says, maybe in like red, skip round, because I don't think it's intuitive that to not have to keep solving, you should just let it time out. I think it should be more active from the user input to be like, okay, I don't want to try and solve. I'm not ready yet. Rather than you have to passively not attempt any guesses. So now I'm just going to keep spinning and see what happens if I reach the last, I forgot what it was called, sudden death round with all 3 solves left. Do I get 3 chances, or is it going to only give me 1 shot? Because before I only had 1 attempt to do, but that's because I had spent 2 strikes testing on keyboard lock. So instead, I'm just going to do a bunch of random spins. Okay, I have to skip this round. I don't want to spend any solves. Wait, when did I guess strike? Oh, did that take away one of my guesses? Okay, so keyboard lock, even if you don't try to solve, it just takes away a strike. Oh, it's because I'm guessing letters that aren't in there at all. Okay, so not only are the 3 strikes 3 solve guesses, if you miss any, if you guess a letter that's not in there at all, that also gives you a strike. Okay. What if I start with 3 letters that aren't in there? So Q, Z, Y. Okay, that doesn't give you a strike. Okay, that's good. I appreciate that your first 3 letters are free. There's no risk. I think that's how it should be. So, okay, let me do this again. I will guess letters that are in there, but I'll try to get all the way to the last round. So T. Spin it again. Oh. It might be hard to actually get to the last round with all my strikes, depending on my luck here. Hopefully I can lose a few turns. Okay, so that's what free letter is. I can miss with no strike. So let me do a letter that's not in there. P. Okay, yeah, I see. That's why it pops up free afterwards. Okay, half time. So let's do C. Spin again. Random letter. Okay, we'll guess R. Spin again. Extra time. That's okay. Put in the I. Spin it again. Extra time, that's good. Move the S. Last round, do it a spin. And do the E. Okay, so I'm in solve or die. I have 3 strikes left. So let's do LW. I know that's wrong. Okay, it spends a strike. DG, I know that's wrong. And okay, there is a give up button. Um, I think I like give up being a fairly small thing because it's to encourage the user to at least, have a guess rather than just, oh, I can't do it, I give up. But I think because it's something you can click, it should at least be in a button format rather than just some grayed out text because I could definitely see someone glancing past that, especially because it's a dark background, little gray text. Their eyes just could easily glance past that. And I prefer if something can be interacted with, it should draw enough attention that a majority of users will be able to interact with it if they want to. And last strike, I'll do again a wrong guess just to see. Yep, 3 strikes, game over. Okay, I'll do one more round. So I've tested backspace and characters. I've tested. Ooh, what if I try and submit? No, nope, that doesn't work. Let me see if I solve. Then press enter now. Okay, no, you do have to have every character filled out before you press enter. Yep. That's all good. That's a good sort of safety of, you don't want to accidentally, I hit enter and I've wasted my guess when I wasn't ready to. So I'll try doing some incorrect letters and see how far I can get with the game sort of giving me a help. So let's do a Z. Give it a spin. Okay, I can only solve, so I'm not going to do anything. Give it a spin. Let's do a vowel guess, because, that might be what people think. Let's do an A. Let's get rid of an A. Okay, the A is in there, which obviously we do know, but I'm trying to see how far I can get being completely clueless or emulating that. Oh, I've got extra time. Actually, what happens if I just let this time out? I don't think I've let this part time out. What happens? Okay, interesting. Timing it out also isn't a strike. Then the fact timing it out is a valid way to pass a turn without taking the risk of a strike. I do think then there definitely should be a button that just lets you skip that turn. So if you're like not confident on a letter and you want one more free letter from the game first, or you get keyboard lock and you just don't want to try and solve, because in both cases it can work in the user's favor, there should definitely be some sort of button that I can click to skip that timer. And I know part of it is because total time is a metric, so then if the user skips the round, just add the full time to their score. So rather than skipping being like a way to cheat the time, it should just assume you timed out the round is what I think that button interaction should do. So let's put in the R, which I know is there. I think that would be, to me, the most intuitive setup and a good compromise, I think, as a user trying to I guess, maximize my score. I would understand there should be a trade-off. Um, but yeah, I think the current balance with positive and negative effects seems pretty good. I think you can pretty consistently get the state of the board to where even if you're not super familiar with the time period, and like in this case, even though it's Tom Cruise, I didn't realize for a couple of rounds, even though in my head I was like, okay, three letter names, Tom, Dan, even that didn't click in me. But by the time you reach this round six, round five, you're bored because of the free effects. Obviously, you could get unlucky, I guess, and get five negatives in a row. Um, then and then you might really struggle, which is a downside to the setup. But I think that again that adds to the variability of the plays, so it kind of it can work in your favor, it can work against. I think I like that. I'm not opposed to a bit of randomness in games. I personally can enjoy it, so I think that's fine. Let me just spin it. Let's see. Okay, I lost a turn. Spin it again. What if I let it time out? Does it go red? Or is it going to go yellow because I didn't get a strike? Okay, it does go yellow. Which I guess I can see that's this coloring of what happened on that round might be a little inconsistent. I think then even if you don't get a strike, it should either be these rounds should only go red if you get a strike, so that when you look like, oh, I have a strike, it's obvious like, oh, I got a strike early on. Or it should always go red if you made no progress at all. So in that previous round, I didn't get a strike, but I didn't get any letters. I got extra time and didn't guess anything. So I think that also could be a red. Or introduce a third color to the scheme up there that's like, so yellow is you made some progress. Red should be you got a strike, and then a third color, maybe just leave it like grayed out or something, or black, that just says you made no progress. So you didn't get punished, you didn't give in a strike, but you also didn't progress your puzzle. Um, and I think then that would give the user more info again. Especially maybe if that could show up in the share menu, you could share what happened in your rounds to someone. So like, oh, this is how my game went, can you do better? And then it should include the 8 rounds and their colors. So don't tell exactly what happened, don't be like, oh, I got T correct in this round, but it should be like, I progressed, I got a strike, miss, progress, strike, progressed, and then, I got it correct in the last round. Actually, if I solve it, is that a different color? No. Then that should also be another color. There should be green. That just says in that round, you guessed it correctly. So if I were to share this to someone, it would have looked yellow, red, yellow, black, yellow, green to show the story without telling them what I guessed, which is similar to how Wordle would do it. And I think, because I think a big part of these is being able to compare your experience with a friend or sharing it. So Because there's two ways to play this, obviously, individually and be like, oh, this is what happened for me. You try this round. Or, a couple friends together all brainstorming the idea. When it's brainstorming together, obviously the little share panel that shows what happened in the round, it's not as important because you experienced it together. But when you're doing it individually and at different times, I think having that nice little share thing you can show someone and it being a format that works in multiple places, not just a little share pop up, like just giving you something to copy and paste, I think is very important for the sort of community aspect around these sort of games. Um, but otherwise, I think the that will round out the end of my playtest for Rolls on Movie Night Games. I think it's a pretty good format. I like the randomness it has to add some variety. I would like a few more colors when it shows you what happened in the round, so it's a bit more informative. A better share menu. Again, the bit I talked about being easy to copy and paste. And access to historical rounds, so I could play it a little bit more on some other days that already happened. But otherwise, besides the and the small bug with the UI where you can back out characters that have already been submitted, which I showed here. I can guess Tom and remove the O and the M, but it still submits it. That I found a little bit unintuitive. I don't like it just forcefully taking your guess as soon as you fill out the 3 letters. But otherwise, I had fun with it. And I would be interested to see how this develops over time and see how it expands, what eras of films it covers and so on.